Hey, really glad to get that first home win of the year, get their season sort of kicked off now on a positive note. After, watching the game and going back and evaluating, I thought we played, like I've said after the game, I sort of felt like I was sort of on. I thought we played a solid game. Nothing too spectacular on either side of the ball, but I thought our kids played hard. That was probably the best thing that I felt like that I could take from the game. Our kids played hard, and we played a lot of players. Had a lot of guys get banged up throughout the game, nothing that would be season ending, but we were really thin at some points in the game. A lot of guys got to play, was able to play a lot of players, which was good to try to develop some depth. But going back and looking at us offensively, went the whole game without any turnovers. That was huge, protecting the football. Didn't try to throw it an awful lot, so we really didn't feel like we needed to because of the success we were having running the football. I thought Elijah McGuire sort of looked like himself, reeled off some big plays, some explosive plays, ran strong between the tackles, and Torrey Pierce continued to play well. And I thought Darius Hawkins and Montrell Carter had some nice carries too. But when all four of your backs carry the ball well, that sort of points back to the offensive line. I thought those guys played pretty good up front. And they gave us some looks we weren't ready for, and I thought we handled those for the most part okay, and still got to improve upon some things. Defensively, we got to call some turnovers. That's a little bit of concern. We played 2 games, only calls 1 turnover, but we kept them out of the end zone for the most part. We had a busted play where they popped one on us, but we did some good things defensively, although I know there's a lot of things we can still tighten up on that side of the ball too. We had a bunch of young guys play, especially in the secondary, and but Tracy Walker, I thought, sort of led the way when I thought a pretty impressive night. He got back to play the way we felt like he could play. In the kicking game, we didn't get a whole lot of opportunities to punt, but Coops had a great one for the one time he did. I think a 48-yarder with great coverage, and we were worried about their return guy, and we actually did a great job with him on the kickoff and punt coverages. Stevie missed an extra point, but he made his field goals, and he'll continue to only get better as the season goes along. So overall, solid effort. Thought it was a great crowd. Not for sure who's counting the people walking in the gate, but I thought it was a great crowd, and I think we'll have an even better crowd this next round. So a lot of fun, great environment. I thought it was a great showcase for the recruits that we had on campus. To see that type of environment, and I think it's only going to get better. So with that, open up any questions.
Talk about Elijah's performance, the difference between week 1 and week 2.
I thought he just continued to get. I thought his overall game was solid. Protected the quarterback well when we asked him to protect and pass protection. Ran strong again. The difference, a little bit of the difference, Matt Vantage going against the FCS team instead of a SEC team too. So that may have had a little bit to do with it also. But he did what he needed to do, and that was run some big plays and do what you're supposed to do against an FCS opponent, and he did a nice job.
Can you talk about the maturity of Tracy Walker? I know makes a big play against Kentucky, but still not happy with his performance. For a young guy like that to be able to kind of regroup, regardless of what the stats say, for him to come back.
Yeah, I talked to him earlier in the week, and he said, Coach, I'm not worried about how my stats turn out. I want to grade a champion. When you grade a champion, that means you do your job. Whether you get 11 tackles or you get 1 tackle. A lot of times the ball might not come your way, or if you take your gap, you make somebody else make the tackle, and he did. He graded the champion, played awfully well, and had a lot of tackles. So I thought he just is getting back to himself after somewhat of a slow start, and I think he's only going to get better. I thought he played solid.
You mentioned some of the guys are banged up. This off week came right at the right time for you.
Well, I would hate to have to play a game Saturday. We would have a lot of guys that would be able to play, but they would not be 100%. And so this break does come at a good time. We're about, like I said, 7 weeks deep into the season when you count fall camp, and so it came at a good time.
Coach, you played a lot of base defense, a lot of 3-man front. It looks like where they had a lot of their success was stretching you on the speed to the edges. Maybe talk a little bit about like that, because they did get a little bit of push at times.
Yeah, they got on the. We didn't set the edge a couple of times. They got outside on the perimeter on some jet sweeps and a couple of bounce plays. We got to come up and set the edge. A couple of times they call us in man coverage where your edge is coming from deeper when the safeties have to come up and you don't have the corners or outside backers setting the edge. And so they guessed right a few times too. And so, but those are a lot of fundamental things that we've got to clean up every week. So it's great to learn from. The tape is going to be really good for the kids to see this afternoon. And you know, each week we hope you can continue to correct mistakes and get better.
Does this line come together a little bit quicker than you thought it would this offense?
Yeah, maybe so. You know, because it's some different dynamics, different guys playing different positions, new guys in new positions. Our twos, we got to play the twos a little bit on the O-line, and I would have liked to seen them maybe play a little better, because there's going to be a point this year where we're going to need some of those guys. It's not for, I don't think, a lack of effort, and I think there's some talented guys. I think it was first game for those guys to get to play, and you can tell it was the first game. But I think those guys are only getting better with playing time.
Did Eddie snap the whole way, or did he switch something?
No, he snapped the whole way.
Last year it seemed like it was ankles, this year it's shoulders. Is it reflective of how physical his first two games were? Is it sheer coincidence?
You know, I don't know if it's flavor of the year. You know, last year I don't know if we had a shoulder. Now we probably got 6 shoulders. So I've talked to Coach Witt about that and see if there's anything in our training we needed to address. And he assured me we wouldn't do anything different this year than we've done in years past. And sometimes it just sort of the luck of the draw. A couple of the injuries were related to being fell on in an awkward angle, which sometimes could cause those, not necessarily from making contact. And but it's definitely a concern with as many as we've had. So, but luckily, none of it's ending the season for anybody yet. We need to get as many guys back as we can.
Any of the ones from Saturday would cause you to miss Akron, Goodlick and Jones, or two of them?
Yeah, Goodlet still made Miss Akron. Yeah, he's the main one that's the most severe. But not, I don't think he's going into the season, obviously, but he may not be back for Akron.
And did he get back Nixon, Riles, and
Yes.
Worthy?
Yes.
Coach, can you give us an
And
update?
Worthy, he's not a shoulder. I was wrong with one word. We got so many, I can't keep up with shoulder and hamstring. It's a mash move in there. So, but he's got a slight pull on his hamstring. He's getting better. We expect him back. Yeah, so that's a good plus.
Coach, can you give us an update on Prater?
Prater did not play because he's had a concussion in the first week. So we expect him back at the end of the week of practice. He'll be clear, ready to go.
Talk about Brooks' efficiency.
Well, you know, man, the guy was dead on. You know, I thought he threw the ball extremely well. When we asked him to throw, you know, he was having so much success in the run game, and they were bringing so many people. You know, you just didn't want to sit back there and take a sack and then be in 2nd and 15 when we were able to move the chains consistently, run the ball. Threw the ball really well. Hit Devin Scott on a nice crossing route. Gave our big guys a chance to catch some passes. So I thought he did well when he threw the ball.
Do you think not having Jalen Nixon kind of breathing down his back, as far as, I know the competitions, they're we guys, not me guys, but as far as knowing, hey, I'm the guy today, not worried about anything else. Does that help?
Well, it may have, you know what I'm saying? In some ways it may not, though, because sometimes you know guys behind you, you want to make sure you do really good. So, but he played really well regardless if Jalen was there or not. And I don't want him to, any of our quarterbacks to, or any position, to me, you know, do your best regardless if somebody's there or not. And to be honest with you, I don't know why it's any different for a quarterback than it is a wide receiver or a DB. You know, DB's got somebody waiting right behind them to go in if they don't do well. Linebacker, somebody else. So I don't think it's no different quarterback personally. I played quarterback.
Has Brooks taken some steps forward as far as kind of picking his spots, as far as being a runner, and then kind of
no, you know, he can run the football. You know, he's not slow, but you know, he's a passer first, runner second. But he had some nice runs the other day. You know, I thought he had a couple of nice runs. And you know, the thing that Brooks did such a good job of is getting us in the right place a couple times. With all the pressure they were bringing us, you had to really decipher the code, and it wasn't easy. He did a nice job getting us in the right calls and getting all these guys going in the right direction.
So the first 2 games, how would you, just as a coach, evaluate his play, and maybe just looking at film, what's his next step for Brooks?
Well, you know, if you go back and look at the Kentucky game, he played really solid. You know, we mentioned he didn't get a lot of help. You know, we didn't put the ball in the end zone a lot in the Kentucky game there in the first half, and we did last night, but it was against obviously an FCS opponent. It'll be probably a true measuring stick when we play Akron. You see if we can continue getting better. And you know, we've got to be able to throw the football to be effective. You know, we didn't have to last night, but we're not going to be able to line up and just do that consistently all year. There's going to be a time when teams are going to make you throw the football, and they're going to make you beat them throwing the football, and we're going to have to be able to do that. And that's the thing that he can do. That's, you know, that's what he's known for, to be able to throw the football. And we've got some really outstanding receivers, and so that's, you know, and that's what he wanted to do. Any quarterback, like, you know, he wanted to throw that rock the other night, but Coach Johnson felt like, you know, we was having so much success in the run game, we wanted to just keep it on the ground.
Do you need to improve on the sliding ability before he gets a form tackle?
Yeah, we either got to work on the sliding or we got to work on our juke step. One of the two. Slamming into the guy is probably the third option. But and you know what? It was a really good run, and he was effective with the draw and with some of the option runs.
Sounded like you were a little concerned about your front's ability to make those big behind the line of scrimmage plays, but you're top 20 in both of those nationally right now, leading the conference in both tackles for loss and sacks. So what's kind of made that?
Well, because we're bringing a lot more people. You know, we got a lot of people on scrimmage. You know, the old saying goes, when you rush 5 people, the defense only's got to win 1 out of 5. The offense has to win 5 out of 5. So to be successful. And so when you bring a lot of people, the chances of somebody getting home increases. You bring 3, 2 of them are going to get double teamed. You bring 4, one's getting double teamed. You bring 5, that's 5 single blocks. And so that's sort of how it works in the pass protections. And then even in the run game, when you got, you know, a lot of people to stop the run, you know, you got a lot of pressure on your secondary, and you got to be pick and choose your times you do that. But we've been way more aggressive this year defensively than we have been.
You've got to also identify the people who can make those types of plays.
That's right.
And it seems like you've got a couple of people. Grange is kind of just come out of nowhere.
Man, this guy, you know, he's been a part of our program since we've been here. He's a walk-on player that plays like a 5th-year scholarship player. And he's already graduated, already got his degree. I'm a Zach Grange fan, and this guy, he's making a huge impact on our team.
What did he do in the off-season that kind of identified, at least for Melvin, that he can be this type of player?
You know, I think the thing that helped him the most is when a new staff came in, you know, a new staff comes in with no preconceived notions. He got a chance to just compete and do what he did for the job. I don't even know if they knew he was not on scholarship. And that probably helped too, because they probably didn't even know. And so sometimes in the back of your mind, you know, well, this was a scholarship guy. He from day one when they got here, did what he does, and that's play awfully hard. He's really smart, and he loves being a Ragin kid.
Coach, last year when Jamal went down, we got to see some glimpses from Devin Scott. You know, is this year what you saw Saturday maybe more of an indication that maybe he's turning the corner and he's a lot more confident?
Yeah, we felt like he gained a lot of confidence this spring, and I think now he's continuing to gain confidence. And he started to at the end of last season as the season wore on. He's a guy that's got really good speed, and he's developed himself now into a really solid receiver through a lot of hard work. His hands are tremendously improved, so I'm really proud of Devin Scott.
Now you had a chance to look at the film. You mentioned when you bring all the guys, you only have to win 1, but there were a couple of times when 2 guys came in and that left 1 guy wide open.
Oh yeah, sometimes you've got to know who you got. When you're making adjustments, we check a lot. So, you know, if we change the coverage or we change what we're doing, and it don't get echoed or relayed to everybody else, that would be called a communication breakdown. And then when that happens, most times it's not good. And so luckily, a couple times, or one time for sure, we turned somebody loose. The football god smiled on us, and he didn't catch it. He was able to play the next day, make the next play. So, but nevertheless, you know, you're always trying to correct mistakes and make sure you have great communication so those things don't happen.
You know, it works for you, said obviously because of the injuries, and it is kind of a halfway point. But normally it's 3rd week pretty early for an idle week.
Maybe a little bit, yeah, maybe a little bit. You know, I wouldn't want it in the second half of the season. I'd want it somewhere at midpoint, but it may be a week or 2 early. But right now, for us, it's not. Luckily, it fell right now, just by the things that have been happening. But because we will get some more open day times because we have some Tuesday games. So we still are going to get another basic open day coming up in the future.
Tovell only had one tackle against Northwestern State. After looking at the film, was it one of the things where they were just avoiding him?
You know, it just, sometimes the luck of the draw. He came up a couple times and did a great job of forcing it back to the other person to make the tackle, and then, hey, he did his job, you know, and he just didn't, his number didn't fall his way quite as much as it had the week before, and sometimes that sort of happens.
Have you had a chance to look at Akron yet?
I have not seen one snap. I have not seen one snap. We're moving today. The coaches are moving into the new facility today. So we're moving video equipment. All our EXO equipment is being moved over to the new facility, so which will have us where we can't watch film on Akron until tomorrow morning. So we'll be full speed out there.
Where will you be in the new building since it didn't appear you're off?
Yeah, I'm going to be in the staff room. I'm going to be bugging all the other coaches. I'm going to move in with a different coach every day until my office is finished. So my office is the last one to be finished. Go take it.
How does that work?
Yeah, you would think, you know. So,
Coach, maybe you can move some of your lawn furniture out there in that deck and get your barbecue
that's
pit.
what I could do. That's a great idea.
Maybe.
That's a great idea.
One thing I did notice from the game this Saturday, I had one of your better student sections.
Best student section I've seen since I've been here. And I think we even had some issues. It got so many students that they ran out of student seating, and so they bled into other areas, which awesome problem to have. We will get that fixed. I have confidence in our ticket people that they will get that fixed. If not, I can fix it for them. I'll get up there and move everybody around, get everybody a seat. Because man, we will make room for our students. They will have a seat. I have no doubt.
With Toledo beating Arkansas, I mean, obviously, it's not Akron, but when a MAC team accomplishes that, is that a beneficial thing, kind of like an early alarm or wake-up call, like, hey, this is going to be your...
Not really. They've got a good team, you know, I'm talking about Akron. They've got a really good team. We know they've got a good team. They started off hot last year. They've got some outstanding players, a lot of transfer players. I know their coaches really well, so I know what they're about, and they are a well-coached football team. I know Terry very well since, you know, we were both head coaches at North Alabama. And then their offensive coordinator, A.J. Mill, we was my quarterback at North Alabama. So I know those guys well. They got a great staff. So they're going to come in prepared, and we'll have to do an outstanding job.
A couple people have asked me about Elijah McGuire's chance to get the 6th touchdown. Was it more your choice to reward Torrey Pierce, or just you wanted to get Elijah off the field?
I mean, them other guys like to score touchdowns too, you know. So spread the wealth a little bit, you know. So if Elijah had plenty of chances in the first half to reel off some more touchdowns, get him while he can. You know, get him while he can. It was those other guys' turn to get some carries, and everybody likes scoring touchdowns. But he had a great game, all kidding aside. He had a phenomenal game. I think he's tied some record now, which I don't even have any idea what it is. Most touchdowns in a game. So hopefully he can break that record one day. That would be awesome.
Is that helping even get a barbecue grill, a bench press, or both?
I've got my own bench press in the weight rooms. I don't need a bench, just a barbecue grill. That's right. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Okay. Appreciate it.
Coach.
Thanks.